Ladies and gentlemen, I don't need a lifetime. I don't need a second chance. I don't need perfect conditions, applause, or permission. All I need is 25 minutes of your time and a heart that's ready for change. Because in 25 minutes, I'm going to wake something up in you that's been asleep for too long. You see, some of you are sitting in the audience of your own life, waiting for the curtain to rise, waiting for the perfect moment. But let me tell you something, the moment is now, the stage is yours, and your greatness is not something you find, it's something you decide to unleash. Right now, while you're sitting there, life is knocking. Not politely, it's banging on your door saying, I've got more for you, but you've got to rise up and claim it. Don't you dare tell me your best days are behind you. Don't you dare tell me you've missed your shot. I've seen people rise from ashes so thick they couldn't even see the light. I've watched warriors who were wounded stand tall again, not because they didn't feel pain, but because they refused to let it define them. You think you're stuck, you're not stuck. You're just surrounded by old thoughts, old habits, and people who have already given up on their dreams. And let me tell you, being around that energy too long will shrink your spirit. It'll convince you that survival is enough when deep inside you know you were born for more. The reason you feel that ache, that tug inside your chest, is because purpose is trying to get your attention. It's whispering, wake up, the clock is ticking, let's go. Let me be clear, this moment we're in right now, this connection, this fire that's starting to burn in your belly, it's not an accident, it's not hype. It's alignment, it's destiny, it's everything you've gone through preparing you for this exact second. I'm not here to impress you, I'm here to ignite you. This is your time, not tomorrow, not next month. Not when things settle down. If you keep waiting on life to get easier, you'll be waiting till you're buried. It's not about ease, it's about execution. Every excuse you've been living under is a lie in disguise. I know, because I've told myself the same ones. I'm not ready. I'm too old. It's too late. But the truth is, you don't have to be ready. You just have to be willing, willing to grow, willing to try again, willing to bet on yourself, because if you don't, who will? Don't let fear be your compass. Don't let comfort be your cage. You were not created to play small, to dim your light, or to live according to somebody else's opinion of what you're capable of. You were created to rise, to roar, and to redefine what's possible. And in these 25 minutes, I'm here to pull greatness out of you that you've buried under years of doubt, failure, fear, and regret. But I can't do it alone. I need you to decide right now that your life is not going to end the way it started, that your future is not going to be a copy of your past. You've got a gift, you've got a voice, you've got a vision that the world needs. But you've got to stop waiting for someone else to validate what's already inside you. So I ask you, are you ready to release the excuses? Are you ready to let go of who you were, so you can become who you were meant to be? Because if you give me 25 minutes of real attention, real belief, and real heart, I promise you won't leave the same person who pressed play. This isn't just a speech, it's a spark, it's a revolution. It's your moment, let's make it count. One decision, that's all it takes to change the trajectory of your entire life. One choice, one commitment, one defining moment where you draw a line in the sand and say, I've had enough. I'm not living like this anymore. I was meant for more. You see, transformation doesn't come when the sun is shining and everything's going your way. It shows up when the storms hit, when the lights go out, when you're sitting in silence wondering if you've got what it takes to keep going. And it's in that moment when you feel like giving up that one decision can save you. Most people are waiting for the right conditions before they decide. They're waiting until they feel ready. But let me tell you something, you're never going to feel 100% ready to become a new version of yourself. Growth is uncomfortable. Change is messy, and fear doesn't disappear just because your dream is big. It disappears when your decision becomes bigger than your fear. People say they want a better life, but they won't make a better decision. They want success, but they keep choosing comfort. They want love, but they keep choosing walls. They want purpose, but they keep choosing distractions. And until you make one powerful, unwavering decision, nothing in your life will change. You've got to choose the pain of discipline over the pain of regret. Because regret is loud. It will haunt you. It will play on repeat in your mind when you're alone. It'll whisper, "What if you had tried?" It'll remind you of everything you were capable of but didn't pursue. And let me tell you, that's a kind of suffering that lasts longer than failure. But when you choose to decide, truly decide, something powerful happens. The universe starts responding. Doors open. People show up. Your own mind, which once sabotaged you, starts aligning with your vision. You start waking up with a different kind of energy, not because your circumstances changed, but because you changed. There's something about a made-up mind that shifts everything. When you decide, this is my year. When you say, I'm going to build that business. I'm going to lose the weight. I'm going to write that book. I'm going to leave that toxic job. I'm going to heal. I'm going to rise. That kind of decision rewrites your identity. It's not about motivation. Motivation is a spark, but decision is the fire. Decision is the commitment that shows up after the hype wears off. It's the thing that keeps you moving when no one's clapping, when no one's watching, when progress is slow and doubt is loud. I'm telling you, the life you want is on the other side of the decision you've been avoiding. It's not out of reach. It's not some fantasy. It's real. It's possible. And it's waiting for you to claim it. So what are you waiting for? Are you waiting for a sign? This is your sign. Are you waiting for a miracle? Your decision is the miracle. You've got to stop dancing around your potential. You've got to stop flirting with your greatness. You've got to stop giving excuses a microphone and start giving your destiny a voice. Because the truth is, you already know what you need to do. The issue isn't knowledge, it's courage. And courage shows up when you decide, I'm not turning back. I'm not shrinking. I'm not settling. So today, make that one decision. Even if it scares you, even if you don't have all the answers, even if you failed before, decide to rise, decide to fight. Decide to become the person you were born to be. Because when you make a real decision, the kind that shakes the ground you stand on, the kind that demands a new level of you, that's when your life really begins. This is your moment. Don't let it pass. Make the decision and never look back. You are not your past. You are not your pain. You are not your failures, your mistakes, or the things that went wrong. Let me tell you something powerful today. Your story isn't over. I don't care how many chapters you've written in sorrow. I don't care how long you've been stuck, broken, or confused. As long as there's breath in your body, there's still time to turn the page. You see, too many people build a house in their past and live there. They replay the same heartbreak, the same betrayal, the same disappointment over and over again, like it's the only script they know. But I came to tell you today, it's time to pick up the pen and write something new. Yes, life hurt you. Yes, they walked away. Yes, you lost something. But what you didn't lose is your power to choose what comes next. You still have the power to reinvent, to renew, to rise. Some of you are looking at your life and thinking it's too late. No, it's not. That's the lie fear tells you when it wants you to stop trying. That's the voice of limitation whispering in your ear so you'll stay where it's safe. But nothing great ever came from staying safe. Growth lives in the unknown. Transformation happens in the uncomfortable. There is more inside you than you've shown the world. You've only scratched the surface. You've only touched the edge of your potential. And just because the first part of your life didn't go the way you planned doesn't mean the rest of it can't be the most beautiful story ever told. Do you know what makes a great comeback possible, a great setback? And some of the strongest people you'll ever meet aren't the ones who had it easy. They're the ones who kept showing up, even after the world gave them every reason to stay down. You've been through some things. I know, but you didn't come this far to give up now. You didn't fight all those battles just to settle. The fact that you're still here means your purpose is still alive. It's breathing, and it's waiting on you to believe again. Don't you let that fire go out. There's somebody out there who needs your voice, your vision, your story. There's someone waiting to hear how you overcame. But first, you've got to make peace with your past and realize it didn't come to destroy you, it came to develop you. Pain births power, struggle shapes strength. Your scars are not signs of defeat, they are reminders that you survived. So what do you do now? You take the pain and turn it into passion. You take the lessons and turn them into leadership. You take everything life threw at you and use it. I'm telling you right now, there's something magnificent waiting on the other side of your willingness to move forward. But you have to stop narrating your life from a place you've already outgrown. You can't take flight while you're clinging to the weight of yesterday. Your story isn't over. You've got another chapter to write, one filled with redemption, revival, and resilience, one where you rise not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. Don't die with your dreams still in you. Don't let the opinions of others become the author of your destiny. Take back the pen, start fresh, start bold, start now, and when doubt creeps in and it will you remind yourself, I'm still here, I'm still breathing, my story is not done yet. This is not the end. This is the beginning of the greatest chapter of your life. So write it with passion, live it with purpose, and finish it like the champion you were born to be. You don't have to be in charge to lead. You don't need a corner office, a title, or a fancy name tag to make an impact. True leadership is not about a position, it's about influence. And influence doesn't come from your job description. It comes from how you live your life. You've seen people with power who couldn't lead a conversation, let alone a team. And you've seen people with no status, no recognition, no authority, but when they walk into a room, things shift. Why? Because they have presence, they carry conviction, they inspire others not with their words, but with the way they show up. You see, influence starts with integrity. People don't follow perfection, they follow consistency. They follow courage, they follow authenticity. If you want to lead people, you've got to be someone worth following. Not just when things are easy, but when it's hard, when it's inconvenient, when no one's watching. That's when influence is born in the choices you make when nobody is there to applaud you. Some people think leadership is about controlling others. That's not leadership, that's manipulation. Real leaders empower. They uplift, they build people, they create space for others to rise. You don't need to raise your voice to lead, you need to raise your standard. How do you treat people who can't do anything for you? How do you carry yourself when there's no spotlight, no recognition, no reward? Because who you are in the dark determines the strength of your light. Every single day you're influencing someone. Whether it's your children, your coworkers, your friends, or even strangers watching from the sidelines. Somebody's watching you, learning from you, deciding what's possible for their life based on how you show up in yours. So let me ask you, are you leading by example or just making noise? You've got to ask yourself, what kind of ripple are you creating in the world? Because whether you believe it or not, your energy is contagious. Your attitude is contagious. Your actions are contagious. And you've got to decide what kind of impact you're going to leave behind. Leadership is not about spotlight, it's about service. It's about being willing to stand up when everyone else sits down. It's about speaking truth when silence is safer. It's about lifting people when it would be easier to step over them. It's about saying, "Follow me," not because you're perfect, but because you're willing. Willing to grow, willing to learn, willing to fail in public, willing to walk with people through the fire and not just show up for the victory lap. And let me tell you, sometimes the person you need to influence the most is you. You can't lead others if you can't lead yourself. That means managing your mindset. That means mastering your emotions. That means showing up every day, even when motivation is gone and the only thing you've got left is discipline. You've got to be your own first follower before anybody else will get behind you. Show yourself that you're trustworthy. Show yourself that you can be counted on. Prove to yourself that your word means something. Because when you build trust with yourself, you start walking differently. You speak differently. You stop chasing validation and start creating transformation. That's when influence becomes undeniable. So wherever you are right now, whether you're running a company, raising a family, working 2 jobs, or rebuilding your life from the ground up, don't underestimate your influence. You don't need permission to lead. You don't need a platform to inspire. All you need is the courage to live what you preach. Let your life be your message. Let your example be your loudest sermon. Lead with love, lead with fire, lead with vision. And remember, the greatest leaders don't leave instructions. They leave imprints. People don't respond to what you say as much as they respond to what you show. You can preach all day long, quote every success book on the shelf, post motivational quotes every morning, but if your life doesn't match your words, people won't follow. Why? Because leadership is not built on commands, it's built on example. A leader who talks about excellence but shows up late, that's not a leader, that's a contradiction. A leader who tells others to be courageous but hides when adversity shows up, that's not someone people can trust. See, people follow strength they can see, not just stories they can hear. If you want to influence others, if you want to raise others higher, you've got to raise yourself higher first, not through ego, not through titles, but by being real, by showing up day after day when no one's clapping, by doing what's right, even when it costs you. That's what separates people who look like leaders from people who are leaders. You don't inspire people by being perfect, you inspire them by being consistent. Show up, stay grounded, keep your word. Be the kind of person whose actions speak so loudly that nobody even needs to hear your voice. Let me tell you something. The greatest leaders are not the loudest. They are not the flashiest. They don't need to dominate a room, they elevate the room. When they speak, people listen not because of how high they speak, but because of how deeply they live. We live in a world full of noise. Everybody's talking, everybody's posting, everybody's trying to appear like they've got it all together, but the people who actually move others are the ones who lead from the front, who live what they teach. Don't tell me about discipline, show me your habits. Don't tell me about honor, show me how you treat people. Don't tell me about vision, show me your commitment on the days when no one's watching. Your example is your most powerful tool. It's your greatest asset. It's your legacy in motion. Some of you have people in your life who are waiting for you to become the example before they believe it's possible for them. Your children are watching. Your team is watching. Your community is watching. They're not looking for perfection, they're looking for proof. Proof that struggle can produce strength. Proof that failure can lead to growth. Proof that pain doesn't have to be the period at the end of your sentence. You become that proof by choosing to live at a higher standard. You don't have to be rich to be a leader. You don't have to be famous to have influence. You just have to live intentionally, with honor, with authenticity, with heart. And yes, there will be days when you fall short. There will be moments when your example feels messy. That's okay, because even in the struggle, there is leadership. Even in the setback, there is strength of character. What matters is that you keep rising. You keep aligning your actions with your message. That's what makes people believe in you. That's what makes your leadership real. Every day you are casting a shadow with your choices, and someone's walking in it. Someone is watching how you carry the weight. Someone is learning how to respond to adversity because of how you're handling your own storm. So don't underestimate the power of your walk. Don't shrink your light because no one's validating you yet. You keep moving with integrity. You keep speaking with fire. You keep showing up in excellence. Because when you live what you speak, you don't just change lives, you ignite them. That's what leadership is all about. Before you lead a crowd, you've got to lead the person in the mirror. That's where it starts. That's where it must start, because you can't give something you don't have. You can't guide others through storms if you haven't learned how to stand strong in your own. You can't talk about discipline, resilience, or purpose if you haven't made those things a lifestyle. See, people want to change the world, but they haven't learned how to manage their emotions. They want to build empires, but they haven't learned how to build a consistent morning. They want to command respect from others, but they haven't learned how to respect themselves. Let me tell you something. The foundation of leadership is self-leadership. That's the part nobody claps for. That's the part you do in the dark. That's the work that makes you the leader before anyone ever gives you a title. When you lead yourself, truly lead yourself, you don't wait for motivation. You don't need applause to keep going. You're driven by purpose, by commitment, by the internal decision that says, no matter how I feel, I will show up today. Every day you have two choices, lead or be led. Be led by excuses, by fear, by distractions. Or lead yourself through discipline, through standards, through unwavering focus. That's not easy, that's not always fun, but that's the price of greatness. You don't stumble into excellence, you choose it. And that choice, it starts with small, quiet commitments. Waking up when you said you would, finishing what you start, speaking truth even when it's inconvenient. Doing what's right when nobody's watching. These aren't just good habits, these are acts of leadership. And when you master those, people will follow without you asking them to. But if your life is out of order, your leadership will be too. If your emotions control you, you'll never be able to guide others. If your habits are inconsistent, your influence will be too. That's why the hardest battle is the internal one. Leading others might feel heavy, but leading yourself. That's the real weight room. You've got to talk to yourself more than you listen to yourself. Remind yourself of your vision. Refocus your attention. Reignite your purpose. Self-leadership means knowing how to encourage yourself when nobody else will. It means getting up after failure without needing a cheer squad. It means standing in your own power before the world gives you a platform. Some people think leadership starts when you get the title. No, leadership starts when you take ownership of your thoughts, your habits, your goals, your energy, when you stop blaming the world and start asking, what can I do better? That's leadership. Because here's the truth, when you lead yourself well, you become a magnet. You become the kind of person others want to follow. You don't have to demand respect, you command it through consistency. You don't have to chase influence, it flows to people who take responsibility for their own growth. You want to change lives, lead yourself. You want to break generational cycles, lead yourself. You want to become a voice that matters. Lead yourself. Because when people see you standing in excellence, when they see you show up with integrity, when they see you fight through adversity and still move with grace, they believe in what's possible for them, too. Leadership starts inside, and when you get that part right, everything outside starts to shift. So if you're waiting for a sign, this is it. It's time to raise your standards, time to check your routines, time to evaluate your mindset, time to take control of your life like never before. You are the CEO of your own destiny. You are the commander of your own commitment. And when you lead you unapologetically, relentlessly, passionately, the world will follow. Because self-leadership is not just the foundation of influence, it's the key to lasting impact.